question to you would be right now, does he have enough firepower to stay with a very talented Notre Dame team?
Well, I think the key things to watch in this football game is the
5,000 here today. One of the largest arenas in the world as seen overhead from the blimp. And a day that Michigan and Notre Dame football fans have looked forward to since the unhappy conclusions to last year when the Fighting Irish were beaten by SMU in the Aloha Bowl. And Michigan, meanwhile, was dumped by the national champion BYU team in the Holiday Bowl. John Carney will kick it off for Notre Dame. The Irish won the flip. They elected to defer, and they will decide in the second half what they want to do. Michigan then said, we will receive. Gerald White and Jamie Morris will be two of the deep men for the Wolverines. And John Carney, one of the most talented kickers, tees it up against Bo Schembechler, who has something to prove this season. And Eric Campbell also set back at the goal line. We're underway. Morris at the 6 for the Wolverines. Cuts back and slips down at about the 16-yard line. Let's take a look now at the Michigan offense. Their quarterback is Jim Harbaugh, coming back from a broken arm, played only 4 games last year. His inside runner will be fullback number 22, Gerald White. Jamie Morris, who just returned that kickoff, is the brother of Joe of the New York Giants. Eric Campbell switches from defense to offense this year. Paul Yoki, 6'8", former basketball player, and Eric Caddis is his tight end. Harbaugh brings the Wolverines to the line of scrimmage. Morris cuts inside, hit down and squirms to the 24-yard line.
You know, Brent, one of the interesting things, which I'll get to right after this little pitch sweep, this is one of the things that Bo felt they have to do. They have to be able to run the football. Gets a good block from White, and Jamie Morris cuts back to the inside with good daylight. But they did go to an even defense. Notre Dame lost their nose man, and they shifted to an even defense with Dorsey.
They shift again, Era, defensively in that front. They come with Morris, trying to get the first down. They're going to be very close. What does it mean to the fan watching when Eric Parsegan says even or odd front?
If there's a man on the nose defensively of the center, and this is Mike Griffin, was lost. The Fighting Irish nose tackle was lost to a broken leg early in the pre-fall practice. And, of course, they've moved another tackle, Eric Dorsey, in there. He does not have much experience in that position, so they're going back to an even. They move him off the center's nose.
The Wolverines with their first down, something that Bo Schembechler wants to do today, control the clock. They shift back into the eye. And again it is Morris, this time sweeping to the left on the Irish. Steve Lawrence, 23, makes the stop for Notre Dame. Let's take a look at that offensive line. The pressure is on them. Left tackle Clay Miller. He got out from under the nose of Barry Switzer. Mike Huzar out of Chicago will start at guard. Bob Tavicino had to switch over because of injuries to the regular centers. Mark Hammerstein, his brother, is on the defensive line. Big John Elliott. He is 6'7", 283 pounds. This is 2nd and 7 for the Wolverines. They are strong to the left. They now bring Campbell in motion. He gets outside Jokic. Harbaugh to throw for the first time today on the roll. Incomplete. Jim Harbaugh, who suffered a broken arm last year against Michigan State after the Wolverines had won 3 of 4, is Schembechler's quarterback-elect this season to try and bring the Wolverines back into national prominence. His father is the head football coach at nearby Western Michigan. His dad did serve as an assistant coach here under Schembechler and then went out to Stanford.
And he also was right on target to Jamie Morris, but Jamie did not hang on to the ball.
Big third down. split bounce. Jokic to the right. Incomplete. Tried to hit his tight end, Eric Caddis. Pat Ballage, the strong safety, was helping on the coverage.
They were trying to go to Eric Caddis, the tight end, number 81. I was surprised they didn't go to Jokic. He just overthrew him. It would have been a tough catch for Caddis, but I was interested. It was interesting that he didn't go to Paul Jokic, who is 6'8", 240. We probably will see that later on in the ball game.
Era Troy Wilson, one of the Notre Dame cornerbacks, came up and delivered a fine blow that time. Robbins picked up the snap off the ground with a short punt, and Notre Dame will have field position at the 33-yard line. The Irish leader, Steve Berline, out of Southern California, Servite High School, down in the Anaheim area. One setback is Alan Pinkett. Notre Dame to throw on first down. Berline keeps it and picks up 5 yards. Defensive tackle Mark Mesner in on the stop for Michigan. Let's take a look at Berline and his offensive attack here for Notre Dame right now. Coming back from shoulder surgery. We'll check that out. Here's the man who's breaking in as the Irish fullback. And, of course, their Heisman Trophy candidate is Alan Pinkett. Now, with Mark Jackson out, Tim Brown is their top receiving threat. He is no relation to the New England quarterback by the same name. And he was a defensive tackle last year. Stams is in there, set in front of Pinkett. They'll operate out of the eye, and here comes Pinkett, the Heisman Trophy candidate, and they stuffed him on his first carry. Inside linebacker Andy Moeller steps in, number 49, and delivers the blow.
Boy, that was an excellent job by Moeller. You know, the son of the defensive coordinator, and that's the sort of thing they feel that they have to do. They have to stop Pinkett and the running game of Notre Dame. They're going to give some of the passes, the short passes, but they feel that the only way they can get beat is by Pinkett in the run.
3rd and 3. From split backs, they will run Stams straight ahead. And again, it is young Mark Mesner, a sophomore defensive tackle, whom the Irish have elected to test here early. And Mesner was equal to the task.
It's interesting that both teams during the offseason have gone to split backs, both Michigan and Notre Dame. Notre Dame showed it for the first time. On this short yardage situation, they're going to kick the ball away early in the game, and it's the right decision.
So the sophomore, Mesner, stuffs Stams short of the first down. Sorensen will punt here for the Irish. Eric Campbell, the wide receiver, is set back at the 10-yard line. Steps up to the 16. Good coverage by that specialty team.
Excellent coverage and good hang time on the part of Sorensen.
Notre Dame and Michigan just underway. We're going to be right back. No score, first quarter. Schembechler and the Wolverine assistants. Down here, you would expect them to be very conservative. They do not want to turn the ball over.
Remember, I asked Bo that on Thursday. He said, we're not going to throw the ball down there in our own territory.
Campbell is in motion. From the eye, it's the fullback, right straight ahead. Just what you'd expect from Michigan.
Exactly. And this
Boston College and Maryland are underway. We want to get an update on that, so let's go live to Pat Hayden.
Brent, after a sloppy start, BC put together a 76-yard drive, which culminated in 20 seconds left in the half. This touchdown pass from Sean Holleran to Kelvin Martin. It's 10-7 at the half. Let's go back to Brent Nera.
Thank you, Pat. Of course, Troy Stratford injured for the BC Eagles, and Doug Flutie's little brother is now operating at running back for that team, and they're underway. From the I formation, Jamie Morris squirts right straight ahead, short of the first. Let's take a look at the Notre Dame defense. They have 8 starters returning, including Robert Banks, one of the outside linebackers. Now the men inside, Greg Dinges and Eric Dorsey playing his first game at the nose. Wally Klein, the brother of Joe Klein, the former Arkansas basketball great. And the other outside linebacker is Mike Larkin. His brother, Barry Larkin, played baseball here at Michigan, was subsequently drafted by the Cincinnati Reds after he helped the United States Olympic team to its medal out there as a demonstration sport in Los Angeles last summer. And Kermit, your face.
Brent, what happened? There was the official called sideline interference. Going to penalize, I think, the Wolverines. I don't know exactly what happened, whether the players were out on the field while the ball was still live, but that is what the dialogue that's going on between, or was going on between Bo and the official.
Bo now talking, of course, to his messenger, Paul Schmerge, who will go in and operate at that other tight end along with Caddis. Campbell coming out. So he will use a double tight in a 3rd and 2, and here again you would expect basic power Michigan football. Sometimes they have run the option in years gone by, but I don't think Harbaugh is as strong as an option quarterback.
He'll read the defense here. He'll call an audible according to what he thinks it will go. Let's see what he does. Probably an ISO. He's going to pitch loop to Jamie. And get it.
And the Irish over on the right side swarmed all over him that time. Greg Dengens was one of the defenders who moved in.
Let's take a look at ground level. The offensive line of Michigan firing out. There's good fire out here, but good support by the Irish stops Jamie Morris short of the first down, and they're going to have to kick practically their own goal line.
That defensive front of Notre Dame with Monty Robbins set to punt. And again, it comes up short near midfield. Notre Dame will have field position as Kuzak fields his second punt. It was for 38 yards with a 3-yard. And they'll drive 11 hours tonight just to get back home. Berline hands to their son. He squirts free for a big gain.
That was a marvelous job of option reading. Actually, Pinkett was trapped in the backfield here. This is that split back. They like to run a little trap blocking. He reads it here. You'll see he breaks it to the outside. His number 33 attempts to get him, but he breaks right away from him. This is a good job. That's why Pinkett is the leading ground gainer in the United States.
Brad Cochran was helping out on that stop. You'll hear his name defensively all game long. Second and about 1.5 yards, and Pinkett for the first down flashes across the 40-yard line down to the 37. Andy Moeller, one of the inside linebackers. Let's take a look at that defensive front. Steve Thibert is the outside linebacker. He must replace Scarcelli, who's injured. Mark Mesner, who is being tested repeatedly in this game. Billy Harris starts at middle guard. Their best defensive lineman is right there, Mike Hammerstein. The Irish are trying to stay away from him. Jeff Akers is the other outside linebacker. Berline to throw it on first down. He's got time. Goes long. Man was covered. Tim Brown was the intended receiver, and Garland Rivers was right there.
Interesting that the Irish would go for the big bomb here on first down while they were moving the ball. Berline just comes back and tries to hit Timmy Brown, who can really fly. He's a 4.3 40 man. And you see there's a little pushing there on the part of Timmy Brown. That could have been offensive interference.
The strength of the Michigan defense, the linebackers and the deep backs. Garland Rivers, number 13, can go one-on-one with the most talented of wide receivers, and he got the job done there. Here is Pinkett from deep, and the Michigan defense, led by Mike Mallory, number 42. He came penetrating across, and he led the maize and blue in. Let's meet the rest of that defense right there. One of their co-captains, Mike Mallory, his father, the head coach at Indiana. Andy Moeller, his father, the defensive coordinator for Bo. Garland Rivers, who made that good play on Timmy Brown. Possible All-American candidate, Brad Cochran. And the safeties, Ivan Hicks. His brother plays for the 49ers. Tony Gant, back from a broken leg that he suffered a year ago. On third down, Berline rolls to the left. He's going to keep it. Inside the 30, he gets his first down. Steve Berline got the first down. He crossed up that Michigan defense that time, rolling to the left.
Watch Jeff Akers, the outside linebacker, number 33, come out for coverage. There is no containment on Berline. Akers is clear out here covering and opens up the seam for Berline. He takes it immediately and picks up the first down. A very fine play on the part of Notre Dame and Steve Berline.
Just inside of 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. No score. This is the first threat of this ball game. Notre Dame driving in. They have a very talented field goal kicker if they bog down. What they want, of course, is the 6. Off a delay, Berline rolls to the left again. This time, Michigan's ready. Steve Thibert, 86, was not fooled.
I think Berline failed to give the ball to Pinkett in there. If you'll watch, there was good blocking. They were trying to run a little trap in there. I don't know what happened. It appears that there was a mistake on the part of Berline.
Michigan Brain Trust, hoping that the defense can do the job. This will be a 2nd and 13. The Irish have not been afraid to put it up down here, but the Michigan secondary has covered the receivers. Frank Stamms, the lone setback to block. Berline on a quick flip to Tim Brown. Knocked out of bounds at the 19-yard line.
There was just too much cushion. He was wide open. There was no problem in hitting that particular pass. Watch here. Is that Brad Cochran, I think, out here, number 20? I couldn't see with the defender, but look how much room he has. Brown is wide open. It's 30. It is Cochran. There's a pushback by Brown. Could have been called. Got to be careful down there. That's why all the crowd noise was there, Brent.
3rd and 5 for the Irish. They'll operate out of the I. Pinkett is set 3 yards behind Stamms. Play fake Pinkett. They send him out as a receiver. He's covered. Berline will keep it. First down. No, it's going to be very close. He was knocked back there at the last moment, and it will depend on where they spot the ball.
I think he made it, Brent. I think he's spotting it past. Yeah.
Jerry Faust agreeing with that.
Michigan is deploying for the pass. They're dropping back both outside linebackers, both inside backers, 3 men rushing, and of course Berline is taking the daylight, giving him a lot of run opportunity.
Notre Dame will operate with 2 tight ends. Tom Rader and Joe Williams are both in the game. Tim Brown is the only wide receiver. He's set way out to the right. They'll go from the I. They're inside the 15. Pinkett down to the 12-yard line.
Looked like he had a little daylight there, but the Wolverines closed very quickly. Brad Cochran in there again.
Cochran from that left corner, one of the captains of this Michigan team. He's been all over the field. It'll be a 2nd and 7.
Notre Dame went into just a 1 flanker back with 2 tight ends that time at the 15-yard line, trying to probably punch it out, but they got to make 3 yards of crack to do that to get the first down.
Pat Cusack, messenger to play in. He is the wide receiver in this formation. It is Pinkett up the middle, bounces inside the 10-yard line.
2 conservative calls down in here. 2 tight ends, flanker, almost a goal line attack. It's a little early to go into that, I think, at 15. Now they come up with a 3rd down about 4.5, 5.
What do you think Mike Stock, former player and the assistant coach who's calling the plays, will come up for Notre Dame with this situation?
Good question. If he doesn't want to give away the 3 points because he knows it's sure with Carney, he'll run a conservative play. But I think a run action pass here would be very appropriate, and he might go with it.
From the I. Both lines were moving. Jay Underwood was the Notre Dame tackle, number 74. He may have taken the bite and jumped offside.
One of the things that Notre Dame was attempting to do there was to bait the Wolverines. They started to come across, but unfortunately it worked against the Irish because they jumped. They moved.
I think under Coach Faust, it's mistakes like this that have plagued this team. Here they are in great scoring position inside the 10-yard line, if you will. And now they're going to be backed up almost to their original line. It'll be 3rd and 9
for them. Mike Stock might go with a screen, although this particular formation does not lend itself to it. Yes, it does. Oh, they're in the I, yeah.
And Tony Eason, along with Tim Brown, are the 2 wide receivers. They'll run Pinkett, and ready for him was big Mike Hammerstein.
And here comes Carney. one of the great field goal kickers that Notre Dame has ever had. Never forget that field goal he kicked in the Southern Cal game last year. I mean, it was a quagmire. They came in under unbelievably sloppy conditions and put it right through the uprights.
17 of 19 as a field goal specialist for the Irish, and one of those misses came from 50 yards out. The ball will be put down at the 19. He's good again. Carney is now 18 of 20. Notre Dame gets on the scoreboard with a 34-yard field goal, but they're disappointed. They wanted the touchdown.
Very good for their opening drive, or in this period so far.
There's the man who put the 3 on the scoreboard, John Carney. Deep kickoff. It'll go out of the end zone, and unlike last year, it'll just come out to the 20-yard line instead of the 30. Bo Schembechler, of course, is the man in charge of that Michigan offense, and we asked him what he wanted to do today.
I'd like to possess the ball. Our goal is to get 20 first downs. If we can get 20 first downs, then we have some semblance of possession, and then if we get a big play or two, we're right in the game with a chance to win.
We'll see what he comes up with on first down. Perry Moore has checked in at fullback. He'll set up in the I ahead of Jamie Morris. Now they split out in that formation. They are strong to the right with Caddis. Harbaugh will dump it off. 8-yard gain by Jamie Morris.
Just a little quick screen to the outside there to get them started. Picked up almost about 9 yards, I guess. It's what's interesting, though. Bo went right to the air on first down. He's out to the 20-yard line, which I think is less conservative than he has been in the past.
And again, they go to the split backs with Caddis lining up strong to the right. Now they'll run Perryman straight ahead for the first down. And Bo starts to control the clock. Miami playing without Bernie Kosar this year. Jumps to an early lead only in the second quarter. And of course, we'll be seeing the Hurricanes against this Notre Dame team, along with Maryland. That's coming up ahead of us on CBS. Jimmy Harbaugh brings Michigan to the line of scrimmage. First and 10. Eric Campbell comes in motion behind him. Play fake to Morris. Roll to the left. Complete. No, out of bounds. No, complete.
Eric Campbell was deep behind all the Irish defenders. Harbaugh did not see him. And take a look right here. He just does not keep his feet. And here's Eric Campbell. You see past the defender's 5, but the ball is thrown, and you see he does not have his feet in. Good call by the officials.
Pat Ballage was on the coverage for the Irish. Jokic, 6 foot 8 inches tall, played basketball here for a couple of years before he decided to take up football full time. Now it is second and 10. Harbaugh to throw again. He'll run, and he's a good runner. First down, across midfield. Out of bounds at the 45.
Bo maintains that Harbaugh was the big difference a year ago. They were 3-1 when he went down with the injury, and he feels that he can make a big difference in this attack, and certainly his scrambling ability here is testimony to that. Watch here as he sees the daylight, doesn't find the receiver, and it's impressive that he has the kind of speed to really outrun some of these fine people. Great play by Harbaugh.
The inside linebackers, part of Notre Dame's strength, went the opposite direction, opening up a huge hole, and this is a different kind of attack than Bo Schembechler normally shows. Much more wide open with Harbaugh in the controls. Here he runs on first down, and Jamie Morris gets 6 yards. And now the Notre Dame defense appears to be back on its heels a little bit.
Well, I think the most impressive thing that I've seen out of the Wolverines thus far is Bo Schembechler willing to throw that ball at the 20-yard line and throw it on first down about 2 or 3 times. Now they've got the ball in somewhat reasonable field position, and he may try to run it in.
Down to the Notre Dame 37-yard line. Michigan trailing by a field goal. 1:13 to go. Brad Cochran and the defense waits. It is Perryman straight ahead, short of the first down.
The strength of the Irish, as you pointed out, Brent, is in the linebackers. I think they've got a great core of linebackers. Kovalevsky and Perjanik on the inside. And, of course, Larkin and Banks, backed up with fellows like DiBernardo and Figueroa, are really a great, talented group.
This is 3rd and 1.
Notre Dame has elected to go to a standard defense. They're not in any goal line or short yardage situation.
Morris, he just did make it. Eric Dorsey brought him down.
Dorsey got a lot of penetration that time. Almost stopped Jamie from making that first down. It would have been an interesting call for Bo at 4th down.
Next week, another one of those fierce rivalries will be down in Clemson, South Carolina. It is the Georgia Bulldogs against the Clemson Tigers, and they have split their last couple of games. Georgia coming from behind to win last year, 26-23. Clemson, Georgia, next Saturday on CBS. Here it is, 1st and 10 for the Wolverines. Inside the 35, it is Perriman coming around the right side, getting to the 30 and picking up 3 yards.
Both teams are running up. That's the end of the first quarter. Brent?
With Notre Dame leading Michigan at 3-0. But on Notre Dame's biggest threat of the game, it was an offside.
Pretty well. They're hanging in there. Both teams are playing good defense.
Michigan will attack from the eye. This is 2nd and 7 as we start the second quarter. Harbaugh to put it up. Goes long for Jokic. He catches it. No, he dropped it at the last moment. Incomplete. But what a great effort. Troy Wilson of Notre Dame was down there with him. And Jokic almost hung on. Watch Wilson come with him step for step. Wilson is giving away great size. Jokic, the basketball player, can catch a ball with one hand. Juggles, tries to pull it in with the left hand, but the official is right there, and he can see that he did not have control as he went down in the end zone.
It appeared that he dropped the ball as he hit the ground.
Oh, Schembechler is counting on the 6'8" Jokic as a big weapon, and he showed us why. Now it's 3rd down, and again it's going to be Harbaugh for the sidelines. Incomplete. He wanted Eric Campbell, and he saw Marv Spence come up quickly on him, and he may have shot that ball out of bounds. We have an injury down inside the 40. Certainly, Era, I could not tell from that particular angle whether he had it and controlled the ball and the ground actually knocked it free.
Well, there was official right on it, so I suspicion that he did drop the ball. But from the view that we had, it appears that he makes a sensational catch, and the ball's down on his stomach or lower part of his chest, and as he rolls, he must have dropped the ball. I don't think he had possession long enough to declare it a touchdown.
Here is the end of that play, and again, you can watch Jokic with an enormous hand. They talk about Gerald White would come in, and now the Wolverines will attempt a field goal. The first one by Gillette. Mike Gillette. He is a freshman kicker, a great baseball prospect here at Michigan. Kick is up. Short. A 47-yard attempt comes up short. Notre Dame will take over. They lead 3-0. What about the Notre Dame attack as they come back to work?
Well, I think they've done very well, although I think Michigan has stopped Pinkett a little bit better than the Irish would like. But I think I would still work with Pinkett. He's the key guy. Mike Stock told me that they had to get the outside. They had to run Pinkett on the sweep and be successful with it if they expected to win. So I expect we're going to see some of that in this drive.
Jerry Faust has sent his team back to work, and fullback Perriman being tended to on the Michigan bench. There's the other fullback, Gerald White, consoling them. First down era, you mentioned it, and the average yards on first down in favor of the Wolverines.
Well, I think that's a little bit misleading. I think that was a first down play that Harbaugh scrambled out on, which was the biggest yardage gainer that they had.
There it's the Goodyear Blimp America from Houston, Texas, and the pilot is the captain, John Moran. He's from Spring, Texas. Burline handing off right up the middle. They pound away with Alonzo Jefferson. Carries for the first time. He backs up Alan Pinkett, number 3.
Alonzo Jefferson's a lot like Jamie Morris, about the same size, same type of running ability. Very fine young man, good back.
2nd and 4. Tim Brown and Reggie Ward are the wide receivers. Split outside. It's Jefferson again. We've had a development now in that Boston College, Maryland game. Let's go back to New York, and here's Pat Hayden.
Brent, the Terps are grinding it out versus Boston College. Here's the 11th play of a 71-yard drive. 10 of these plays were runs. Alvin Blount into the end zone. It's 17-7 in the third quarter.
And back here, Notre Dame leads Michigan to 3-0. We are in the second quarter. 13:40 to go. Steve Burline with a lone Irish setback. Straight back, complete to Tim Brown. First down, and Brown accelerates near the 40-yard line.
Boy, I mean to tell you, he can really move. I think he's a great flanker back, outstanding football player, just a sophomore. It's a very simple curl. You see Burline goes back, and you'll see him wide open. Right there. He hits him right there between the seams. Now the thing that he can do, he's really got great running ability. One more step, and he's just liable to go all the way.
He is out of Dallas, Texas, played at Woodrow Wilson High School. And I'll tell you what kind of an athlete Tim Brown is. In the long jump, he went 24.5 feet one day in a high school track meet. And they expect big things from here. Here's the end around to Brown. Michigan read it. Brown battling back, creating, gets inside the 35. How about that for a run? Michigan had a man on him, and he got away.
Oh, he's an exciting football player. He made something out of nothing that time. It looked like it was going to be negative yardage, and he brought it upfield and picked up, let's see, they're going to mark it at about 7 or 8 yards.
Mark Mesner, the young defensive tackle, crashed across the line of scrimmage. Had a shot at throwing Brown for a loss. Brown eluded him. Got to the 33 where it is 2nd and 3. Burline off the play fake. Complete to Cusack.
One of the hardest plays in football to defend. He's taken down the line, holds the linebackers, and Burline put it right to Cusack. I think that's one of the toughest passes to defend against. Well executed by the Irish.
A 29-yard gain as Pat Cusack slants inside. First down for Notre Dame inside the 15. Alan Pinkett returns. He and Alonzo Jefferson will operate from the same set for the first time, giving Notre Dame great speed in the backfield. Here comes Pinkett behind Jefferson, and Garland Rivers, number 13, came up and smacked him.
Boy, what a great play by Garland Rivers. He fired the corner just right. Great tackle. They had the right defense on.
Threw Pinkett for a 1-yard loss. Tony Eason and the fullback Frank Stams will come in for this second down. Burline has been very effective on those quick throws off of fake.
by the part of the Michigan defense. They baited, I think, the Irish into calling an audible to what appeared to be a hole. Both linebackers were standing in the hole unblocked.
What is the defensive strategy against Pinkett?
Well, they're going to try to contain him. They want to take away the sweep if they possibly can in the cutbacks. The other thing that they're trying to do defensively is to create a wall so that they don't give him a bubble to run into.
3rd and 12. Pinkett is the man behind Stamps off the draw. Here he comes. He's trying to get outside the wall. And Michigan came up to fill very well.
Excellent defensive series on the part of the Wolverines. Brad Cochran and Ivan Hicks coming up to support. That's the kind of secondary work that you want. Here's another look at it. They're trying to get, you see it's a little delay and then a hand back. He's forced to the outside. The play was designed inside. Pickett takes the daylight, but there they are. Brad Cochran and Hicks coming in there doing a super job.
And here is John Carney, who has already hit 1 field goal. Steve Berline, and of course with Berline as the holder, some situations you have to think fake, but not this one. Carney gets it high and good, and what a leg that young man has.
He's really something, I'll tell you.
John Carney puts another field goal on the board, but the Wolverines can't get a touchdown.
Well, I think it's a good omen for the Wolverines. Even though they have 6 points against them on the board, they have denied the Irish from scoring a touchdown, and they also know that if they score a touchdown, they go ahead 7-6. So this game's wide open yet.
Campbell and Morris are set deep near the goal line. Carney to kick it off. Slight wind in his face. He brings it into the end zone anyway, and it bounces out. Well, BC and Maryland are at it one more time, so let's send you back to New York, and here's Pat Hayden.
Brent, after Maryland scores, BC came right back. Here, Sean Halloran finds Kelvin Martin again for his 2nd touchdown catch of the game, this one for 33 yards. BC missed the extra point at 17-13 in the 3rd quarter. Let's go back to Brent Nero.
Sean Halloran doing a job, Era.
Yes, he sure is. I thought that Maryland would be a favorite in that ball game by a considerable number, but Boston College with Halloran is doing a good job.
Gerald White is in at 1 running back, along with Jamie Morris. They'll operate out the eye. Jim Harbaugh marks the signals. Hands to Morris. Big hole in the middle. 1st down for Michigan.
One thing you can say, the Michigan offensive line is doing a good job of blocking in there. This is not the same team of a year ago. Let's look at ground level here. There's Tabacino, number 77, the center. And watch as Jamie Morris gets a great hole through there. There isn't anybody that touches him until he gets downfield for an 11-yard gain. He's 7 for 36 now.
Pat Ballage making the stop. Strong safety for Jerry Faust. 1st and 10 again for Harbaugh and the Wolverines. And I can't tell you how impressed I am here early with the Michigan quarterback. They'll run Morris on 1st down to the 37-yard line. Tony Furjanic, the linebacker, with the tackle. College football picking up around the land. We'll see that Georgia Tech team coached by Bill Curry a little bit later in the year. Louisiana State and Bill Arnsparger trying to get back to another major bowl. Georgia, whom we'll see next Saturday against Clemson with the lead in the 4th quarter on Baylor. And that Clemson team having trouble against Virginia Tech, coached by Vince Dooley's brother. You think he'll call his brother and ask him what to do? He'll be on the phone every day. 2nd and 5 for Michigan. They trail it by 2 field goals. Morris broke a tackle. 1st down out to the 47.
Great piece of running again. They're doing a great job on the Irish defense as far as blocking up front, something they could not do a year ago. Watch here from the end zone as Jamie takes a little delay. It's kind of a delay sprint draw. Gets good daylight in here. Wally Klein came in and almost made the play, but there's, Jamie Morris does run a lot like Pinkett. This is one of the things that Bo Schembechler said. He's a fine little runner.
8 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the 1st half. Morris comes out. And they'll pitch to Thomas Wiltshire. who fills in for him. Wiltshire got a couple of yards, and then he was hit hard by that Irish defense. Wiltshire is a young man who came to Michigan with great speed, but he has been slowed throughout his career by injuries. Back in high school, he ran the 110-meter hurdles in 13.6. They were expecting great things from him.
Must be working some kind of a... I can't tell from this vantage point.
2nd and 9. Harbaugh flushed out of the pocket, coming over to the left. And a great catch, but was he out of bounds? He was out of bounds. Incomplete. And how about this Jokic?
You think he's some kind of target out there? Looks like this must be Gary Moeller, one of the defensive coordinator, working on some coverages against that quick look-in pattern that they hit to Cusack. That's the same diagram right there, trying to figure out probably what is the best coverage against that, because they expected to be thrown again. It was so wide open.
Harbaugh figures to throw here on 3rd and 9. Drops straight back, goes hard to Jokic, and that time he dropped the ball. He was very conscious of staying inbounds that time, and he broke concentration with the football. Jokic is a wide receiver that they have slotted. They've moved him outside. Now they bring him in underneath Campbell, and they run him hard over to the sideline in this pattern. Watch Jokic look down at the sideline. As he did, he lost concentration on the ball, and it fell incomplete, and it's 4th down. Monty Robbins has not punted especially well for the Wolverines here in the first half. This will be his 3rd punt. And the fair catch is signaled inside the 10-yard line. Notre Dame will have bad field position, 6-0. Notre Dame leading Michigan, 7-14 in the first half. Tim Brown and Reggie Ward are the wide receivers. Alan Pinkett is the tailback. Frank Stamms, the fullback, behind Verline. And it is Stamms on a counter, one of Mike Stock's favorite plays when he played for one Ara Parseghian.
That's right. At Northwestern, and of course coached for me at Notre Dame. Took over the offensive coordinator job in the middle of last season, and they won their last 4 straight games, 3 of them on the road. And they wanted to pick up where they left off as far as the momentum was concerned to the regular season. I don't think that Mike is going to take too many chances down here. This is the first time they've had poor field position. They don't want to take any big risk plays. At least that would be my guess.
2nd and 6 for Verline.
He's going to throw it.
Drops it off over to Pinkett, who is an excellent receiver. Brought down short of the 20-yard line by Andy Moeller.
Another pass coverage pass cut that's very difficult to cover. They take the tailback action. They got 2 receivers to the strong side, and then the tailback slips through, watches the linebacker, see where they have expanded, and then will run to the open seam, and then Verline just dumped it off to him for a 1st down.
Michigan with 3 more passes in the early going than the Fighting Irish.
I think, excuse me, Brent, I think Bo would be pleased if he saw the stats right now. Pinkett only has 17 yards and 10 carries.
They fake it to him that time, Ara, and Verline throws, and Reggie Ward juggles and comes down at the 35, and now they rule incomplete. Let's see what happens. One official said it was a good catch. They get it sorted out, and they call it incomplete.
Probably a little bit like the Jokic one. Let's take another look at it and see whether or not he actually had it. He just comes down in a big turn-in. Reggie Ward, he's open here. The ball is deflected right there. No, he didn't have possession of it. It hit the ground. Good call by the official.
Cochran had the coverage. He was all over him that time. Brad Cochran is one of those rarities as a defensive back. He loves the bump and run coverage. Loves to go one-on-one.
It's interesting, too, that they're going ahead and opening up their offense down in their own territory here.
2nd and 10. Michigan looking for that turnover with 6 minutes to go in the first half. They run Pinkett. Mark Mesner, the sophomore defensive tackle from Milford, Michigan. Again in on that play, number 60. Of course, at halftime, we'll have all the scores. Penn State off to a good start under Joe Paterno this season. Louisiana State and North Carolina are tied at the half. And, of course, Pat Hayden has been showing you how that score is developed. And they have gone to the fourth quarter. So Pat will be along with Jim Nance at the half with all the scores and highlights. Pinkett and Alonzo Jefferson are split in the backfield. Furline can't get it off. Big Mike Hammerstein, the All-American, rolled in for the sack.
Look at that defense of Michigan. Boy, they're really pumped up. They're really doing a good job. The Irish are going to have their hands full.
Now, one of the things they're going to have to do is watch the blocking scheme because they cannot allow Hammerstein to come in like that.
That's right. Hammerstein came in there and put a lot of pressure on. There's Eric Campbell back here. He's going to get decent field position this time.
One of the things they can do is roll Furline to the right instead of the left. So it'll be Sorensen back to punt. Good kick. Eric Campbell for the fair catch at the 40-yard line. Michigan with a lot of time. That's a 41-yard punt. The Wolverines trail it by 6.
Line that's been almost inbounds. They got 4:40 left, and I think Bo is not going to be conservative.
Fullback Bob Perryman, who was shaken up earlier, is back in the lineup. He will block the reverse. It's Eric Campbell. He can fly. They've got a hole on the left side. Campbell to midfield and to the 49-yard line. It's going to be close to a first down. Mike Larkin, the outside linebacker, with the pursuit for the Irish.
I know from this vantage point here, if Eric Campbell had cut this back to the inside after the reverse, here he pitches out to Jamie Morris, gives the ball on a reverse. Now, if we can see from here, if you'll see if Eric Campbell cuts this back to the inside instead of running to the sideline, right in behind Harbaugh, right there 78, which is blocking out. Was there...
We saw that new rule in vogue their era where the lineman was able to extend his hands, and that helped Campbell get around the corner in that situation. It is first down from the eye. Morris explodes up the middle inside the 40-yard line. The Wolverines on the hunt.
Two very positive plays for the Wolverines. A reverse and then a power-off tackle play that had a wide opening, and he picked up 12 yards on it. He's having quite an afternoon.
Now up front for Michigan, Bob Cavacino, the center. He is the key to their offensive line. He was forced into that center spot because of an injury to their two regulars. He is not normally a center. And that whole front, Cavacino, Mark Hammerstein, Mike Huzar opening big holes. First and 10. Ball is at the 38. Morris trying to get outside. Jitterbugs back inside. Oh, does he remind you of his brother, Joe Morris, out of Syracuse and now with the New York Giants.
He's gained almost 70 yards this afternoon at 68, 11 attempts for 68 yards. That's a pretty nice average, Pratt. The other thing, as you pointed out, I think was significant. Tabacino, who's been moved from strong guard to center. They were concerned about the exchange, but Notre Dame, on the other hand, had a problem with Mike Griffin being out, putting Dorsey in there, who hadn't been familiar with that position.
Second and 6. Morris again, and the workhorse gets inside the 30, close to another first down. There's a lot of time for Michigan. 3:20, and if you're a Notre Dame fan, that clock can't move quickly enough now.
Well, he did a nice job of option reading. Jamie Morris did that time. Didn't look like there was a whole lot there, and he did pick the slight daylight. Looked more like Pinkett that time.
Harbaugh brings him to the line. Third and about a half a yard. The power straight ahead with Perriman. First down inside the 25-yard line. They are coming right at Eric Dorsey, the inexperienced nose guard. And with Jamie Morris having been so dangerous, they elect to go to the Bo Schembechler style of football. Strap it on real tight, and let's go straight ahead, nose to nose, and let's see what you got. And Michigan's got a first down. Just inside the 25. Schembechler, 500 last year. the worst record he's ever had as a head coach.
That's exactly right. But that looked more like Bo Schembechler football. Run over him in the middle.
Now it's countering back, stepping back to the 16-yard line. And the Irish are having a difficult time against the Michigan running game.
Well, you've got to take your hat off to this Michigan offensive line. The one weakness of a year ago has really been strengthened. They are handling the defense of the Irish, and you can see the Irish over there trying to make some decisions about what kind of call, whether or not they want to go to a goal line look to shut down this running game, but they're back in a standard odd defense.
Great play here for an offense. 2nd and 2 going in. They elect Perriman up the middle. He's inside the 10-yard line for a first down. 1 minute and 45 seconds on that clock in the first half.
It's been a very impressive drive. Here comes Harbaugh to the sideline. Here's another look at it from ground view. You'll see a missed tackle right in the hole. Right there. I think that was Steve Lawrence, number 23. Now, he dropped the ball and got it back. That was close.
Gerald White steps in at fullback. He's set ahead of Morris. Michigan letting the clock continue to run on down here, trying to run it out with a touchdown in the first half. They'll run Morris. He jitterbugs. The Irish are on him this time. And the big horses don't let him get any place. Dorsey is there.
Michigan has elected to take a timeout here under these conditions.
So we'll come back, and when we return, Michigan will have 119 from the strength of 2 John Carney field goals, 6-0. But Michigan with his biggest threat of the game.
I'd go to Jokic right here, 6'8", 2nd down. Let him out jump the defender if he can.
He's to the right. They're looking for him, but they're going to drop it off instead to Morris. And Morris gets down close to that 5-yard line. Tony Furjanic, the linebacker, over on Morris.
You know, the other thing that really impresses me is the poise of Harbaugh in here. Here's another look at it. He looks at Jokic first, the top of your screen. Then he drops the ball off to Jamie Morris right there. Look at the speed. Look at the acceleration right here as he runs away from Tony Furjanic. Gets it down to about the 4. Another big down or a big call. Notre Dame has to be in a goal line look.
And he was talking busily to his defensive assistants because that's not a timeout you would want in that situation.
No, they're doing a lot of substituting to get different looks in there, and I think they wanted to go to their goal line with a certain kind of coverage, and I think they got confused in their substitutions, had the wrong people in, so they elected to take a timeout before they had made an error that could have been very costly.
Bo Schembechler has to be thinking, will he go for twice the touchdown or settle for a field goal in a 6-3 deficit? That's on his mind. He must be a play ahead right now.
And the split back, man-to-man coverage on the part of the Irish. Roll out. They threw it away. Well covered. Good move on the part of Harbaugh. Let's see, what do we have? 4th down now. We didn't give away the 3 points. He could have tried to force the ball in, interception, and wouldn't have gotten the 3 points.
Do you agree with Bo? Get the field goal kicker in here. It's inside the 5-yard line. There's a minute to go. He's going to have Gillette attempt a field goal.
Yeah, I think it's a good call. I think you take the 3 points. Psychologically, you get on the board. It's a 3-point game at the end of the half. He gets this.
Mike Gillette has got it. His first field goal. The freshman puts his first points on the board for Michigan, a 21-yard field goal. And we will see him around the Big Ten Conference for any number of years. And, of course, it's more than just 10 football teams in the Big Ten. (6-3). The Irish over the Wolverines. Michigan will kick it off. Goodyear blimp with a beautiful view of this return. And there is a return man down there that I would be very conscious of if I was Michigan. And that's number 81, Tim Brown.
And don't discount Alonzo Jefferson. He's a flyer.
Let's see what Michigan attempts to do on the kickoff. Gillette is not kicking off for them. The barefoot of Rick Sutkowitz will pound into the ball at the 40-yard line. Into the end zone, and it'll come out at the 20-yard line. Era on 3rd down, Jim Harbaugh threw the ball into the stands. What about that play?
Well, I think my vantage point here showed that all the receivers were covered. If he tried to force that ball in, and there was an interference, they would have come up completely empty. Psychologically getting on the board, getting the 3 points, making it a 6-3 game was very, very important. I think it showed an awful lot of poise and intelligence and a big difference at that quarterback spot.
Notre Dame possesses a marvelous kicker in John Carney. Would you go to a prevent if you were Gary Moeller running this Michigan defense, or would you keep maximum pressure on?
I think I keep standard defenses right here because of the field position. I wouldn't take any chances. I think they're going to try to run it as they are right there.
Pinkett with a hole, comes to the right side, gets across the 40-yard line. Now, 57 seconds to go. A couple of passes and Carney could be back in business. That's a 24-yard gain by Pinkett. When you face a field goal kicker as lethal as Carney, you cannot afford to let down in the closing minutes of the first half.
That's a very good point, Brent. You got a guy like Carney, you can't take any chances of allowing him. He can kick 60-yard field goals. Kicked a couple of 62-yarders last week. So anytime he gets down into that range, he's terrific.
They'll run Pinkett to the left. Hammerstein helping out on the stop again.
You know, one pass completion could put them into field goal territory.
40 seconds. And, of course, at halftime, I know you're all interested in the other scores, other games. Jim Nance, who we welcome today to the CBS Sports family, working back in New York with Pat Hayden. They'll update everything. Here it is 2nd and 5. And they run the big man, Pinkett. Had an alley, got a first down at the 41-yard line. 20 seconds, Jeff Akers, an outside linebacker, finally stopping. This has been Pinkett's finest running of the game so far, the last few plays.
Not only that, they are now in field goal range for Carney.
So they will have a timeout, yard line against Michigan. They now have only one left, and they must live with that, with 20 seconds on the clock, and they're trying to maneuver themselves into field goal position here. And, of course, that could cost them the opportunity to get a few precious yards closer.
It'll be a decision that they'll have to make regarding whether or not they want to run the ball into the middle of the field more or take a chance of throwing it and losing the opportunity for the field goal with an interception. This is a decision they're probably making right now because they only have 20 seconds and one timeout to call so they can kick that ball. Let's see which way they go. From the split backs, they like to pass or trap that ball. He's going to throw it. He's going to try to get it down in there, and he's got him wide open.
Tony Eason with his first catch of the game at the 30-yard line. That's a 12-yard gain. And with the first down and 13 seconds, of course, you've got a great kicker like Carney. You're probably just as well putting it up right now and not having something go wrong and allow the clock to run out on you. But I would have saved that last time out and run one more play.
I think I would have, too. I think I would have run it to the field because they were in a hustle-huddle situation and elected. I saw Berline walk up to the referee and give his last timeout.
This will be a 47-yard kick by the talented Mr. Carney. He has already hit 2 today. So he is 19 of 21 for his fabulous career. One of those misses from the 50-yard line. From 40 to 49 yards, John Carney was a perfect 10 of 10.
Well, as soon as he hit the 40-yard line, because this guy can kick 60-yarders, he really, as Jerry Fowles said, he had to make a decision regarding a 40 to 45-yard area because he didn't want to surrender the ball. But in this particular case, of course, at the end of the half, and there's no concern. Let's get the points on the board, he's saying.
He's already kicked them from 34 and 31. Here comes 47. What a weapon. John Carney is one of the finest kickers in college football. He is 3 for 3 for the Fighting Irish. And if he wasn't an Irishman, they are the deep men set to return for Michigan.
There it goes.
Kicks it deep and out of the end zone. So there is time for a play, and they'll send Big Jokic on a fly pattern. And again, I'm in agreement with you. Just scribble it along the ground and let time run down. Halftime, we have a very special guest back in New York. And that, of course, is Keith Byers, the great running back. Do you remember this sequence last year in a Big Ten game? Came out of the backfield, did a full spin against the Fighting Illini. Watch now as he busts on into the end zone. Gets a touchdown. And he will be a guest with Jim and Pat Hayden, and we certainly want to wish him well and hope that that foot recovers quickly and he's able to be carrying the ball for Coach Bruce and the Ohio State Buckeyes soon. Here it is, 8 seconds to go. Harbaugh running out, just gave it to Jamie Morris. They were content to run out the clock. We're going at the end of the first half with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame leading the Wolverines of Michigan 9-3. But they didn't want him to play football, folks. They wanted him to play soccer. So he came to Michigan. He said, I want to kick off for the Wolverines, and here he is. Jefferson and Brown are deep for the Irish. Jefferson fumbles, kicks the ball loose. Michigan dives in on it inside the 15-yard line. The Wolverines recover the turnover as we start the second half. Will run up. He looked upfield for a potential tackler in a hole. Broke his concentration. Then he kicked the ball. And Dieter Heron, the big challenge was to keep it before it went out of bounds. And he scooped it up just down near the 15-yard line. There's a player injured on the far side over there. That might have been Jefferson.
It is Jefferson. With his foot and kicks it forward, cannot get to it. And I'll tell you, folks, if I was standing on the sideline when I was coaching, and I saw he got a knee there. His leg was locked. I'd really be smoking, I'll tell you that. What a way to start a second half.
The smoke would be coming from those Armenian eyes.
And ears.
I don't imagine Jerry Faust is very happy either. He could have lost a very talented football player in the process.
Yes,
because as Era pointed out, that was a knee.
His knee was locked as that contact was made. I'm fearful. That really is a tough break. Well,
an opportunity.
The defense has just got to straighten up their backs and play football here.
It's Gerald White and Jamie Morris. They are the running backs. Jokic is in the slot to the right. Eric Campbell, the other wide man for Harbaugh. They'll run Morris. He busts one tackle. Battles his way to the 12-yard line. Tony Furjanic, the linebacker. And Eric Dorsey, the nose guard.
The defense did a good job. Morris bled some yardage out of there because he was stopped. Look, he's telling him, I want to cut back. You see, he's telling from the sideline. He was lucky to make the yardage he did.
Second down and 8. Morris, the big ball carrier, has rushed for 77 yards. Now they move the slot over to the left, where they leave Caddis the tight end to the right, and they bring Campbell in motion. The power behind Caddis. And he could not turn the corner. Marv Spence and Pat Follage come up from the secondary. They strung the play out as you should. And Morris was running out of bounds.
Excellent job by the Irish. Right down the line. Good pursuit coming here. Follage, number 40. Marv Spence comes in right here, number 25. And pull him down. He doesn't get it possibly no more than 2 yards. Big down right here, 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5 drive. What would you do, Coach?
I think I'd go with a little draw play, a little delay. Now he's going to call timeout. The official is calling.
We have a problem on the field with the 25-second clock. That's why the official stopped it, and that's a big break for Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. Harbaugh immediately walks over to Schembechler. Now Bo will bring Jamie Morris over to talk to another coach. And here's Gerald White in there. It's like a team meeting going on with the Wolverines.
I really don't think that they can go conservative here. I think he's either got like a draw play or a counter play or a pass play for the touchdown. They got to get into the end zone. With that kind of a break, you have to be rewarded by more than just 3 points. So I believe that Bo's going to do something here other than just run that ball on the inside or put it in field goal position.
They have to be thinking about running the big Jokic and trying to get him some field position with that size that he's got and that reach over the Notre Dame cornerbacks. I would think that's one of their options to consider.
Little bootleg pass and cross Jokic right over the middle. He's got to do something here to try to get this ball in the end zone because he's got third down and about 6, I think it is.
And the clock starts.
There's Jokic to the short side of the field. I don't think they're in man-to-man coverage here. There may be man-to-man underneath. Oh, quarterback draw. Great call.
Jim Harbaugh dropped back, kept it himself. So in 3 plays, they go the distance. Gillette boots the extra point. And the Wolverines of Michigan are upsetting Notre Dame by a point.
This was a great call. It was 3rd and 6. They went to quarterback draw. The Irish were deployed in man-to-man coverage underneath, but nobody was on the quarterback. Great blocking in the middle of the line. I think you got to give credit to the bench for making that call. Terrific job.
The first thing they must do on a quarterback draw is occupy the nose guard. If you can't get the nose guard, this play is going nowhere. And they ganged up on Eric Dorsey. They fired off the line with Tabacino. He got help from his guard. They then ran it through. Gerald White came out, sealed off the cornerback touchdown. So in the 3rd quarter, Stackowitz, who set up that turnover with that kick that Jefferson couldn't handle. Booms another one, and Timmy Brown for Notre Dame gets out to the 17-yard line. And that specialty team for the Wolverines with Alex Agassi as an assistant coach doing a marvelous job. Let's take you back to that touchdown by Michigan.
Left halfback Gerald White will lead through and make a great block. Watch right here, the replay of it. The left halfback steps up, then comes right through and helps with number 74, who is Mike Hussar, and there goes Harbaugh and gets into the end zone.
Steve Berline brings Notre Dame out. First down, Alan Pinkett and Frank Stams. And on first down, it's Stams. Gets across the 20-yard line, but the Wolverines are fired up.
Great psychological lift for the Wolverines. Get that fumble, and that was the call. That was a big call because they would have had to settle for a field goal, and now they got a touchdown on the board.
83, Reggie Ward going to the right side. Split backs for Notre Dame. Tim Brown is out to the left. Berline drops back. Incomplete, and it should have been caught. Ball was dropped by Reggie Ward. Got marvelous action unfolding here in Ann Arbor, Michigan in this game with the Wolverines ahead. We've got more of the same coming your way next Saturday. The Georgia Bulldogs and the Clemson Tigers at 3:30 Eastern Time. And this afternoon, those two schools both dug in and went to work. They both came up winners this afternoon, and we'll have Georgia against Clemson. Berline quickly pulls out. Throws the ball high and incomplete. Well covered by Brad Cochran.
Well, that series of downs was a fine one, Brent, for the Wolverines, but still Reggie Ward dropped a first down pass on the second play, and now the momentum is without question shifted in the favor of the Wolverines. That was Ron Hudson, the quarterback coach, talking to Berline.
Dan Sorensen will punt, and Eric Campbell, number 5, now steps back inside the 40-yard line. They put pressure on the kick. It was Cochran coming hard. Michigan lets it bounce. Now Campbell tries to field it unwisely. Ball is loose. Notre Dame goes for it. They get the big turnover. Eric Campbell, who should have let the ball roll dead, didn't.
Now you've seen the momentum shift. The second half has been more action in the first 3 minutes than we had in the whole first half.
Now it's Jerry Faust's turn. He has a break. The pressure was enormous. Watch against Sorensen. Cochran was coming in. Almost got to the punt. Now here's where Campbell makes the mistake. He lets the ball bounce. But when it starts to bounce, he goes to pick it up. But by that time, the pressure was all over him. And Lingens recovered it. Berline under pressure and down.
Well, I think that was a terrific break, I think, for the Irish. I think Eric Campbell might have thought that that ball, as it came down, touched one of his players. Otherwise, I don't think he would have gone after that ball. But the Irish have had open receivers most of the afternoon. I think the Wolverine defense is going to be hard-pressed here because Berline can throw, and he's got a whole group of great receivers. Let's see whether or not he can connect.
Might go to one here. It's 2nd and 13. He'll run the draw with Pinkett. Mark Mesner again.
Let's keep in mind also that Carney can put them back ahead, even if they don't have to score a touchdown to get back in the lead again.
Tony Eason replaces Reggie Ward and carries the play into Steve Berline. They're shuttling wide receivers with the plays to the Notre Dame bench.
Let's see whether or not Michigan tries to pressure. Not to drop him off. Looks like they're going to zone off.
Double tight end. Berline. And Rader catches it, crashes to the 15-yard line.
Good poise by Berline that time. He stayed right in the pocket. He was getting a little heat and drilled the ball right into Rader. Rader almost dropped the ball, though.
One of the players Notre Dame had to replace is Mark Bavaro, now a tight end with the New York Giants. So they switched Tom Rader from defensive tackle into tight end. And here he is with a big play, juggling the ball, but showing marvelous concentration and getting inside the 15-yard line. It'll be spotted just inside.
Mallory just couldn't get to him. Number 42 was chasing.
Here's Pinkett. He gets to the 10.
Defense.
Garland Rivers making the stop, and John Carney standing on the Irish sideline. He already has kicked 3 field goals, 34, 31, and 47.
Well, good blocking that last play by the Irish right side. They drove the Michigan defenders off the line of scrimmage where Pinkett had plenty of leverage there. Good support from the secondary, but doggone good blocking. It's the best blocking I've seen by the Irish line.
2nd and 5. 2 tight ends again. Pinkett up the middle. squeezed out and battled for 2 more yards.
Another big down coming up for the Irish. This is where the going gets tough down in here when you get down to that 10-yard line. You have less field to defend, and you can do a lot of things defensively that you normally wouldn't do out in the middle of the field. This Bo seems fairly calm right now, although he'd like to see him hold him here and force a field goal. They've got to get to the 5-yard line.
Here's the 3rd down play. A power formation, Pinkett, and he is stopped short. Pinkett does not get the 1st down. And John Carney will attempt to make it 4 of 4.
What do you think the odds on his converting this?
Well, he's missed only 3 in his career. Hasn't missed an extra point. This one should be easy, Coach.
Right.
It's 25 yards. John Carney is 4 of 4. Another day at the office.
Boy, I'll tell you, routine.
And Notre Dame leads Michigan 12-10. But it's Michigan's turn at bat next. And Notre Dame has regained the lead 12-10. And what about Bo Schembechler's attack right now, Coach? What's he thinking?
Well, I think he's going to continue on with what he did as far as the first half was concerned in running the football. Jamie Morris has been very successful, but I'm sure that he told Harbaugh he has to have a more productive passing performance. You've got to hit some of these receivers. They cannot continue to run all afternoon against a football team like the Irish.
John Carney, who's tied the Notre Dame record with 4 field goals, will kick it off. Jamie Morris and Gerald White are deep. Out of the end zone. Of course, coming next on CBS, the Marlboro Cup from Belmont. Can Track Barron wind up the horse of the year? This could be a big step for him. He'll challenge again Chiefs Crown, the winner of the Travers. Gate Dancer is there. We'll be going live to Belmont right after our post-game show with all the scores in college football this afternoon. 8 minutes and 14 seconds. And Jim Harbaugh brings the Wolverines to the line of scrimmage. Gilvani Johnson checks in at wide receiver. He and Jokic. Jokic is to the left. They'll swing it out. Incomplete.
Interesting 1st down pass again by Schembechler. Jokic hasn't caught a pass in this entire afternoon. 6'8", 240 pounds. He's been close, but hasn't had one yet.
Almost had a touchdown here in the first half.
He's a basketball player on the basketball team, as you know. I just throw that ball up there and like he was rebounding.
Jim Harbaugh's percentage is not good, but he still has been effective. He scored their only touchdown on a quarterback draw. He'll try pass number 12. This one's complete to Jokic. 1st down, Michigan.
Well, we talked about him. Yes. He had to wait a long time to get it from Harbaugh. It looked like they were going to knock Harbaugh down. Let's take a look at Jokic. We just got through talking about he hadn't caught his first pass. Plenty of cushion by the defender. He's wide open. Harbaugh looked late to catch him, finally got it to him, and he does have his first reception before Marv Spence, number 25, brings him down.
Outgoing personality. He wants the ball, and he's not afraid to go back in the huddle and tell his friend and roommate Harbaugh to throw it to him. Here's Perriman, straight ahead, up to the 35-yard line.
They've done pretty well on their inside running on their 1st and 2nd down plays. They've managed probably around 4 or 5 yard average. Remember,
there's a shot from the Goodyear blimp we see from field level, hovering high above Michigan Stadium. 2nd and 5. Split backs behind Harbaugh. He drops it off to the side, and Jamie Morris.
Setting up a little screen to the weak side. Jokic drives off the defenders. The pass rush came in, and they've been able, that's the second time they've run that play successfully.
Now watch Robert Banks, an outside linebacker, get back as Harbaugh looked off the defense beautifully. Then got it to Morris, who came slashing in underneath the blockers. And Banks whacks him down. But it's another Michigan first down. We have not had many penalties in this game. It's been very well played for the opening game of the year.
You generally have the Irish and the Wolverines. Here it is. Let's see it here. Dead ball. Ball start. You get two good football teams playing against one another that are well coached and generally don't have many penalties.
Georgia Tech, we'll see them later this year on CBS.
Tom Reed could be in trouble there.
And Georgia pulled it out on Baylor. And Clemson a winner. And we'll have those two next Saturday on CBS. And Michigan State over Arizona State just down the road in East Lansing. That's the Darrell Rogers connection. He coached both those teams, and now, of course, he's with the Detroit Lions. Here's Morris. Short of the 45.
Well, they got the 5 yards back that they lost in the... Oh, how about this one? The Wildcats leading. It's only the second quarter, though, so we better hang in there. But that's an awful good start for them.
Did you send Coach Green some of your old plays?
I'd like to send him some of my old players.
Yeah, Irv Frost could have helped them.
That's right.
Look at that heat shimmering here on the artificial surface. Now both fullbacks are in the game. And White will operate at tailback as Morris gets a blow, and Harbaugh wings it complete to the 40-yard line. Another first down. Gilvani Johnson, 17-yard gain.
This is what he needed to do. Harbaugh had a real tough first half, 2 for 10 or 11. There he comes back now. He's hit Jokic. Now he comes back again, making the tailback action inside 17 yards. They've made up that loss. Gilvani Johnson makes the reception. 6'1", 188, as you see.
Dorsey and Wally Klein no more. Number 96 there, Klein, is 6'9", 274 pounds, out of Midland, Texas. All right, here's Tabachino going to work against Dorsey.
Number 77 with the ball. The center just moved over there. Okay, they stand him up there. He throws him off. Dorsey throws him right off and comes in and makes a play. No question about who won that battle. Dorsey.
Morris returns for the Wolverines. 2nd and 8 here in this formation.
Roll out.
He's going to keep it. Uh-oh. Callis is blocked, and Harbaugh dives for the first down. Did he get it?
Yes, he did. He got the first down, and I'll tell you, he really impresses me. He's got more speed than I thought. He scrambles well. He had nothing out here. All the receivers were covered. Looks like they've got a penalty. Watch here. Harbaugh rolls in behind. They have flooded the side with 3 receivers. The Irish have got them all covered. He sees daylight. He wants to cut into it. Forced clear behind all of his offensive line. Picks up the blockers. And it looks like Caddis. Well, wait a minute here. Let's see.
Caddis with a great block.
Made a great block downfield.
Harbaugh has carried the ball 3 times for 42 yards and 1 touchdown. And here's White. Pat Ballard College, the safety. Came flying at him that time. As Jamie Morris, I think I said White, Morris had returned at the tail. And White goes back to fullback. And now Perriman comes in and White comes out.
Yeah, Bo said that both of those fullbacks are about equal. Both good football players.
Second and 8. Here's Morris again and in trouble this time. No hole against that Irish front.
Looks like Dorsey was in there again, doing a good job. Wally Klein, that whole interior. Greg Dingens.
That sets up a tough 3rd and 7, but with Harbaugh's running ability, that has added a new dimension here for Schembechler.
It really has. I was surprised. Didn't realize that he could scramble as well as he did. And he's throwing much better in this second half. Better receivers, or I should say they're open a little better than they were in the first half.
Straight back. Drops it. Incomplete. Eric Caddis, the tight end. And got a penalty marker down.
Personal foul, Notre Dame. Boy, that is a tough call. Wally Klein, the right defensive tackle, came in and took Harbaugh late, and that is a very costly penalty because it would have forced a field goal situation.
Roughing the passer. First down.
Here is Harbaugh pulling out, and Big Klein is being double-teamed. He slides inside, and here comes 96. Oh, he was up in the air, and the official ruled that he could have pulled up a little bit. That was very close.
I think he brought those elbows down on top of him from that vantage point. We couldn't quite see whether he brought those elbows down on Harbaugh unnecessarily.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
It's a tough call. Let's see from the...
Caddis certainly should have caught the ball, looked upfield.
You see his head exactly, Brett. You got it just right there. He turned his head away and dropped the ball. He would have run down where the ball is now anyway untouched.
I think it would have been very difficult for Klein to pull up and not hit Harbaugh in that situation. The Irish got a bad break. Now they'll have to live with it. 1st and 10 inside the 15-yard line. Harbaugh rolling to the right. He's under pressure. Incomplete. Oh, the Irish put a blitz on him.
He called it good. He called it good. It's complete. Take another look here. I think he called this complete. Harbaugh almost gets taken by Lawrence, number 23, right there. And they've ruled this a completion. It went right through the hands of the defender, Robert Banks. And let's see whether he got it. This official calls it good.
He's looking at it. I thought from up here he was juggling the ball. 2nd and 3. And it is White inside the 5. Let's take another look at that catch and see if we can get a different angle. It's not going to...
From here, I thought he had dropped it too, Brent. But the official is pretty close to it. Let's see here. Goes right through Banks' hands. Has he got it on his leg or not? Very difficult to see from this point, but that official is right on it, so he must have seen it.
The measurement here inside the 5. The ball is at the 4-yard line. 1st down for Michigan. Their 17th first down, and you remember what Bo Schembechler told us at the top of this broadcast.
20 first downs, and he's in this game. He's sure right about that. touchdown. Let's take a look at it here from the Irish ground level view. Looks a little bit to your right of the screen. Harbaugh fakes to the fullback up the middle, hands on a little counter. Look at that hole right there. Mark Hammerstein made a beautiful block to left guard, and the score was easy for Gerald White.
And the emotion of the moment as the Wolverines have jumped back into the lead. Gerald White delighted to have put his team back in the lead. The best thing about this lead is that John Carney can't regain it with his 5th field goal.
It's going to take a touchdown on the part of the Irish, or 2 field goals by Carney, which is certainly possible.
I'd forgotten that.
Yeah, right.
Well, Sutkowitz will kick it off for the Wolverines. Barefoot. How do those barefooted kickers do it?
What did he say the other day at practice? He says he wants to feel the ball on his foot at 20 degree temperature. I'll tell you, he feels it.
That drive, and an impressive one by the Wolverines. The one thing that Schembechler seems to have done is put that offensive line back together again. And whenever they want to bring the Goodyear blimp over Michigan Stadium on a Saturday this fall, and the Wolverines are at home, this place will be jammed. 61 straight games. They have drawn a crowd in excess of 100,000. Tim Brown intercepts one intended for Hiawatha Francisco and slips down at the 20.
You know, the big play in that drive of Michigan's was that doggone penalty. It really hurt the Irish. Now the Irish got to pull it together.
And our captain up there, John Moran, this is the 60th year that the Goodyear blimp has appeared at the nation's top sporting events. They get some remarkable pictures up there, don't they? And what a beautiful day to be shooting from the blimp. 17-12, 1 minute and 9 seconds to go in quarter number 3. Here's Pinkett up the middle. Andy Moeller slammed him down, and Eric Campbell, the wide receiver for Michigan, with a shoulder injury, being tended to on their bench. And of course, that is the reason why Gilvani Johnson has been in the lineup for the last offensive series.
Looks like it might be a separation the way they were wrapping it.
And of course, he got whacked hard on that punt when he fumbled it and turned it over. Jefferson, the Irish, was hurt when he fumbled the kickoff. Berline to throw it, steps up in the pocket, and he hits Ward beautifully for a first down at the 41.
Boy, Berline did a nice job of staying in the pocket, staying poised. He sees well. He's got good peripheral vision. And Notre Dame still has a very dangerous passing attack, as I pointed out at the halftime of this game.
17 more passing yards for Berline. He comes up first and 10. He has completed 7 of 11. Pinkett across the 45. Blast for 5 more yards behind that big offensive line as we come to the end of quarter number 3. Michigan scores 2 touchdowns. Notre Dame adds a field goal. It's 17-12. We'll return after this fight between Michigan and Notre Dame. How did this agreement come about?
Happened in 1970, Brent, when I brought my team up here to work out on this AstroTurf or Tartan turf. We had never played on a synthetic surface, and we wanted to work out on it before we went over to play Michigan State. So on a Thursday night and a Friday night, we worked here. And on Thursday, we had a meeting with Don Canham, and that's when this series was put together for a decade. And I didn't know that I wouldn't be there. Bo didn't know whether he would or not.
There's the handoff to Stams, the fullback. He busts across the 50, close to the first down. They had a 2nd and 5. Era, what are Mike Stock and the Notre Dame assistant coaches thinking about? What have they seen down here that would give them some optimism?
I would think, we have an injury here.
Steve Thibert, their outside linebacker of the Wolverines, being helped to the sideline, shaken up.
I would think that if they're looking from the press box up here, that they would find that there are open receivers, and Berline is a seasoned, experienced quarterback. and I would think they would take advantage of that. I think that if they're going to score a touchdown against this team, against the Michigan team, it's going to be through the air.
Well, Berline's going to put it up, but he's under pressure. And there he is, Mike Hammerstein, number 66. He has been an All-American today.
Beautiful timing on the part of the defensive call. Gary Moeller, the defensive coordinator, they put a blitz on, and Berline doesn't have a chance on this one. He turns to throw, and there's Hammerstein right there making the play. Too tough to handle.
That's a 13-yard loss. Hammerstein has played a great game here this afternoon for Michigan.
I think a little screenplay would be in order here. Try to make up some of this yardage. They'll give it to Pinkett.
Michigan is playing with a very special intensity. You can feel it with this defense. Dieter Herron coming in. Now, they had a team meeting last night. They asked the coaches to leave. And I asked Brad Cochran, a co-captain, what he told the team.
And I think one of the problems is we didn't have emotion, and that's what we worked on. And basically, we call it hoot and holler. We got them all jacked up and yelling and screaming. And what I told them is we got to come out of their emotional tears in our eyes, and that's a big factor because there's two teams that are going to run the ball at each other, and the team that comes out and hits the hardest is the team that's going to win this ball game.
Michigan trying to hit the hardest right here, and they do. They come up with Jeff Akers, the outside linebacker, number 33.
Boy, they're pumped up, aren't they?
Gant set back deep. He replaces Campbell to return this punt for Michigan. Slips a tackle, but slammed down at the 19-yard line. 12:30 to go. Robert Banks gets down and makes the tackle. A 44-yard punt. Here is Morris, cutting to the right and slammed down. Looking at Morris, of course, there's another great running back down at Auburn, and that's Bo Jackson. Let's check in with Pat Hayden and see what he's up to today.
Brent, as Arrow knows, there's no defense for the impromptu play. Watch Andrew Anderson, Southern Mississippi's quarterback, use his athletic ability to flush himself outside. 78 yards later, Lionel Alston, the receiver, pulls it in the end zone. That makes the score 19-9. Southern Mississippi intercepted a pass, kicked a field goal. It's now 19-12 in the third quarter. Back to Brent and Arrow.
Back here, it is 2nd and 8. Harbaugh pulls out for Michigan. Pressured. Now he throws on the run, almost intercepted. DiBernardo, number 43, an outside linebacker, was in the lane and almost snapped it off for the Irish. What will Schembechler be thinking about at this point in the game? He's up by 5 points with 11:44 to go.
I don't think he's going to take a big chance here because he almost had an interception. But still, all in all, in this fourth quarter, he can't be too conservative. His defense is playing well. This is probably a tough call. I'm guessing he's not going to throw it.
He just inserted Thomas Wiltshire at the tail.
That's how much I know.
Harbaugh to run out of it. First down. Out to the 44.
I told you he wasn't going to throw the ball.
Another 22 yards running for Harbaugh.
Giovanni Johnson threw a great block. They get a great seam over here. Watch, Harbaugh comes back, doesn't find anybody open. But look at this hole that he goes ahead and takes. He comes up the field for yardage, and Giovanni Johnson throws a great block down here. Number 26, see if we can pick it up in the picture. I couldn't quite pick it up there in that picture.
First and 10. Ball is at the 44. They'll run Morris. He's across the 45 to the 47. The clock is down to 11:08. One of the things with Harbaugh's running Notre Dame probably did not expect it. The outside linebackers have not necessarily stayed at home today. There have been alleys open that he has found, rolling one way and cutting back against it, because that is something that the Notre Dame defense did not stress this week. They did not think he was this good a runner.
I think that's very true. Harbaugh has shown me an awful lot. Bo told me about 10 days ago that he was one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the Big Ten. I didn't believe him at the time, but certainly I do now.
Look at that off the option. Keep it turned a corner close to another first down. This is one of those ball-controlled drives, eating away at that clock now. He has rushed 5 times for 69 yards, scored a touchdown. West Virginia wins for the second time this year. And now LSU going to work. And Iowa, we'll see Hayden Fry later on this season. That's a team that could challenge for the Big Ten championship. Gerald White and Bob Perryman into the backfield. 3rd and 2. Here's White. Hit, breaks free, first down.
Almost had him there. Gave that second effort and he got it. Well, Bo said he wanted 20 first downs and he'd be in this game. He now has 19 and probably will get 20.
It is an emotionally charged arena right now. The crowd sensing an upset. Handoff inside. They battle away for 4 more yards. Kowaleski being helped up. Now Dorsey. 2nd and 6 will be the situation. Jamie Morris back in. He's out of Ayer, Massachusetts. Tabachino ready to snap it to Harbaugh. Jimmy goes long for Jokic, who's open. Incomplete, and there's the flag. Interference. Marv Spence. I don't think there's any doubt about this, Harold.
Yeah, he pushed him beforehand. It's a 15-yard penalty. Marv Spence was pleading his case, but I think he pushed him before the ball got there. There's Marv Spence, number 25, Jokic, number 84, right there. Oh, yes. Yeah. As a matter of fact, the ball hit Spence in the back of the head. If he'd have turned around, he might have intercepted it.
I'll tell you what, that's not a bad penalty. That would have been a touchdown in my estimation.
Exactly.
If he'd have let it go, and as it is, it's a 15-yard penalty under this rule, so the ball's on the 26.
And that rule was just changed, you know. Otherwise, it would have been for the spot of the infraction.
I don't like that rule. I never did like it when they put it in because of that. Now Harbaugh hands to the tail. Wilcher's back in. At the 20-yard line, he's brought down. One of the things that I want you to see here is the tremendous size difference that Jokic has when he comes off the line against a smaller defensive back. Lawrence, why?
Lawrence is just 6 foot. Right here, you see contact made with Jokic before the ball gets there. Right there, Lawrence. Then the ball actually hits Lawrence on the shoulder.
And the rule, Coach?
Rule, he interfered with the receiver before the ball got there.
But they don't get it first and goal.
Oh, you're talking about the yardage.
They
Yes.
got it 15 yards. Jamie Morris is at the tail. Perryman. Very superb play selection by Schembechler's staff. You don't know whether Harbaugh is going to hand off to the short man, pitch to Morris, throw the pass. As a defense playing against Michigan right now, you'd be guessing what Bo's going to come up with next. They're doing a magnificent job against a very talented Notre Dame defense.
Yes, and the score 17-12. This is a big play for the Irish. If they can hold here, they can force a field goal to make it 20, and they could still tie it up with a touchdown and a two-pointer.
Harbaugh on the roll this time. He'll throw to White. Inside the 5-yard line, Gerald White.
Brett, you got to be impressed with Harbaugh. He's had quite a second half here. Came up with a big play. Irish were trying to rush him. Very cool. You see the strong safety coming up here to put pressure on. Harbaugh stays cool. Great block. There it is. Great catch by Gerald White. Big play.
He brings him up in the eye. Here's White to the 4.
There was a mistake in that backfield that time. Looked like it might have been Gerald White. I'm not sure, but Wally Klein came in there and knocked him down. The coordination in the backfield was not proper. Look at the difference in the rushing yards, Brent.
230 for Michigan and 108 for Notre Dame.
We'd say that Michigan is vintage Michigan again.
2nd and goal and 6:34 to go in the 4th quarter. Michigan up by 5 and threatening again. Here's White to the 2-yard line before he's stacked up.
Harbaugh picking up the signal. This is another thing. For the first time in Schembechler's coaching career, he is signaling from the sideline. He used to give the play transferred from either the offensive coordinator or himself to a messenger. The messenger would relay it to the quarterback to the team. Now he just flashes it. Harbaugh wants a timeout. He doesn't like what he sees.
What a big defensive play right here for the Irish.
It really is. If they can force a field goal, as I mentioned earlier, they could get back into this ball game. And allowing a touchdown will make it very difficult with just 5:49 left to go. Let's see what Bo is going to come up with here. I think I'd put it in Jamie Morris's hands. Possible option.
Great defensive play.
And they were trying to run the option play down the line.
Cedric Figueroa, number 48, came crashing across.
Watch, Michigan is going to try to run the option. They fake the ball to the fullback, come down the line, but Figueroa comes right in, unblocked, and stops that play cold. Great defensive play.
This is the front that Michigan was up against. Figueroa got off the block by the back who couldn't kick him out. Rode in, and now it'll be Gillette with the field goal attempt. And it's a big one.
Yes, it is.
Mike Gillette adds a field goal. It's 20-12 Michigan, 5:12 to go. Game situation up on the scoreboard. Remember, in college football, the two-point conversion. The Irish can force a 20-20 tie, but to do it, they would have to score their first touchdown here this afternoon. They have 4 field goals by John Kearney. But, Aaron, you keep saying the receivers are open.
They have been open, and they've got the ammunition to do the job. Berline is a poised quarterback. They got to him here in the last series of downs as far as rushing and blitzing is concerned. The line is going to have to block for him. Keep the Wolverines off of his back so he can throw the ball. If they allow Berline to throw this football, they can move down the field because they can strike quickly.
Hiawatha Francisco. Set back deep. Stackowitz to kick it off for the Wolverines. Takes a high bounce. Tim Brown will down it. come out on the 20. Oh, we want to check in on Bo Jackson and Auburn. Let's go to New York and Pat Hayden. Pat?
Well, Brent, you asked about Bo Jackson earlier. He's having a sensational day. Watch the raw power here from the 3-yard line as he gets in. He has 143 yards on 21 carries. The Tigers lead 26-12 in the third quarter. Let's go back to Brent Nera.
Another big afternoon from Bo. And speaking of Bo, we got one here by the name of Schembechler who's having a big day. First down for Berline. To the right side, almost intercepted, and then Pinkett almost got it on the deflection.
Now, one of the things that has hurt the Irish in the second half also is these Michigan drives. They had 12 plays for 80 yards, took up 7:02, then came back with a 14-play drive, the big one being Harbaugh scrambling out on third down for 74 yards, another 7:18.
Don't forget the defensive performance of number 66, Mike Hammerstein, at that defensive tackle spot. He'll be trying to put pressure on one more time. Berline will use the draw play, and Stams, he'll go no place.
Oh, didn't like that call.
Andre McIntyre. Now, he is the big middle linebacker they go to when they want brute force in the middle. He's not a starter, but they'll take out one of the smaller inside linebackers and insert McIntyre. As a matter of fact, he's the reason why their starting center, Herrick, is not in the lineup in a scrimmage. He whacked him pretty good. In this half, Michigan has been much more effective offensively. Here's third down for the Irish. Berline's pass incomplete.
I would have liked to see another opportunity on that second down play, Brent, where Berline is throwing the football. Now they're forced to kick the ball with 4:15 left, which makes it extremely difficult.
Garland Rivers was the defensive back, and like many of these Michigan players, he's had himself an afternoon. Tony Gant will be the deep man. Sorensen punting for the Irish.
Good kick.
Drives Gant back inside the 35. Nice cut.
Oh.
To the 47. 4 minutes on the clock. Michigan thinking upset. It's the CBS, and we pick up just where we left off. Remember that Thanksgiving weekend down in the Orange Bowl? Doug Flutie dueling it out against Bernie Kosar. Then the Cotton Bowl, it was Houston's comeback, which came up short. And now it's Michigan closing in on an upset. This is the beginning of another great year here on CBS. Jim Harbaugh brings the Wolverines up. 4:02 on the clock. Michigan leads Notre Dame 20-12. And they pound away at the clock right now. Eric Dorsey making the stop. Notre Dame's defense will try to go for the ball. Give the offense at least one last shot at it.
Notre Dame has 3 timeouts left. They could get the ball back. And one of the things that is impressive about the Schembechler coach teams, he's never lost a home opener, Brent, and that's a remarkable achievement. The other thing is that they, remember a year ago, their pride was down a little bit. You know, they had not had a great season. They'd lost 3 out of 4. But don't discount that man. He's had 10 championships here.
And there were some experts going around saying that Bo Schembechler was finished, that he wouldn't be able to do it again.
Well, you asked the...
Meanwhile, the pressure falls squarely on that man again.
It's a very tough loss, as I said at the top of the show. The problem is that you do not belong to a conference. There's no conference championship to win. And being a major independent, an early season loss you can overcome, but it's still tough for you if you want national ranking and you want to go to a major bowl. You've got to get the ball back.
quarter.
Let's see what they come up with. They'd like to keep that ball away from the Irish. Are going to have to make first down.
Here's more.
They'll do it that way.
Fumble, Irish ball. Picked up on the run by Troy Wilson.
That's what the Irish needed to get that ball back.
Troy Wilson gets the turnover at the 3:43 mark.
And see, there's a big hole here for Jamie Morris to go through. Great blocking. Hussar, number 74. Morris shakes loose. There goes the ball. It was caused by Ballard's number 40. Knocked it loose from him. Troy Wilson picks it up, but he cannot advance the ball. The ball hit the ground. You have to catch it in the air to advance it.
Here come the Irish.
Plenty of time.
2 tight ends and 1 running back and 2 wide receivers.
2 receivers quick on both sides. Here they go. 4 men out.
Oh, complete.
Berline threw it just a little bit behind him. It was Rader.
Steve Berline is feeling some enormous pressure right now from that defensive front. Billy Harris, Mark Mesner, and Big Mike Hammerstein, number 66, again was in there all over the Irish quarterback.
And he threw the ball just to the outside of Rader, the tight end, number 90.
Now here it's 2nd and 10.
Same formation again. They're going to go flooding the sides. 2 quick receivers, both sides. We'll see what they're anticipating zone from the Michigan team.
Ward's got it.
Throw.
First down at the 48. 3:32 on the clock.
That was a great throw by Berline. Clear from the right side of the field, clear to the other side of the field, and right there for 20 yards. Stops the clock.
That time he got an extra second, and the receiver broke away from Brad Cochran before he made the grab, cutting toward the sideline.
Same formation, probably the same thing. 4 receivers out, 2 tight ends, 2 wides.
Man's open in the middle. Hey,
Great
makes
catch.
a great catch.
Oh,
He didn't hold it. I thought he had the ball.
I thought he had the ball long enough. Let's take a look here and see whether or not he did. Rader has played tackle, he's played center, and now he's moved to tight end. This is his first year at tight end. You see him releasing off the line, your left corner of your picture. There it is right there. He jumps up, catches the ball. I think he had possession of the football. Another angle.
Absolutely. It's back at the ground and charted loose.
Right.
Notre Dame has got the worst of the breaks. There's no question about that. 2nd and 10. Quick pop over the middle. Incomplete. Intended for Rader again.
Tried to hit Rader again because he was the hot receiver. They were blitzing and he picked it up, but the Wolverines recovered quickly. Berline threw the ball just a little low. You got a big down coming up for the Irish. 3rd down. They need about 7 yards.
Alan Pickett's parents watching nervously, hoping that the Irish can get back in. Berline in the second half is 3 of 10 for 51 yards, and the son waits in the backfield to see if they'll throw to him this time. Berline looks. Overthrown over Tony Eason's head. Now that's one of the few times this afternoon I've seen Faust grab a headset.
It's 3:08 left to go. He's deciding on whether to go with it on 4th down. I think he is, because they only have 2 timeouts left. Berline needs to hit one here. There he is. Great throw.
Pinkett, first down at the 30.
Boy, that was a big play. 4th down. He beat Andre McIntyre that time. Pinkett came out of the backfield and circled across the middle. The other play in the last series, he's wide open on the same play, the counter play of that, but Berline didn't find it. He found him that time. A very critical call for the Irish and a big play.
22 yards, and Berline was under enormous pressure. Did get it off, and Alan Pickett backing up made the grab for Notre Dame. Clock runs down to 2:40. incomplete, overthrown. Wanted Pinkett again. And that time a linebacker, Steve Thibert, who was shaken up earlier, had dropped back on the coverage. And if you can get Pinkett isolated on a linebacker who might be a step or two slower, you could be in business.
Yeah, I suppose that Gary Moeller, the defensive coordinator of Michigan, is trying to make a decision whether or not he wants to go after Berline or defend maximum with a maximum number of people, a three-man rush. Let's see what he does here.
Over the middle, complete to Joe Williams. And it's an Irish first down. So the clock stops at 2:31 while they move the chains on that 14-yard gain.
Well, I told you that they could move the football, and Berline is seasoned and experienced. There's Jerry, obviously concerned, like to see that ball get into the end zone.
Berline with good protection. Hits Stams, the fullback. He's inside the 15 to the 13-yard line.
Plenty of time.
Ivan Hicks.
Dieter Herron's coming into the ball game.
Winding down to the 2-minute mark. Here's the second down. On the draw, it's Pinkett. Tries to spin, and he's down at the 11-yard line.
It's a good call. Almost came out of there with it. Okay, third down now. What is it? 4. Looks like Moeller, number 49, is a little tired in there. Looks like the Wolverine defense is tired. They've been on the field now a while, chasing all over, chasing receivers all over the place.
So it's Moeller and McIntyre at linebackers as Berline drops back under pressure. Hammerstein, he tries to throw it loose, but he was down. It was Mike Hammerstein, and then Mark Mesner came in. But you've got to give all the credit in the world to big number 66.
Boy, he has done a job here in crucial situations. He has broken through and made 2 or 3 crucial sacks on Berline. He had him in his grasp. Berline tried to dump the ball off so that he wouldn't get the negative yardage, but the official called it down, and it's a negative yardage. It's a big play coming up for the Irish. 4th down.
We got a timeout. 1 minute and 2 seconds left on the clock. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Day before yesterday, and there was this headline that says era vows neutrality. I gotta tell you folks, I got both hands on him trying to keep him down on this 4th down.
I've been as neutral as I can be.
I know you have until the last few seconds.
That's right.
You've done a great job, but I don't blame you.
This is a big play right here. Look at Bo, he knows it. I think I'd put that ball in the end zone somehow, throw it in there, hopeful for a intercept or a interference call.
4th and 16. They can get a first down and not score. They don't have to get to the end zone. Penalty flag. Interception by Michigan. But there is a penalty flag.
Holding. No, it's against the Irish.
So the interception by Doug Mallory stands. Here's another look at the play. Now Berline pulled out, and the offensive line was so intent on keeping
holding right
out of him that they tackled him to the ground, and thus the holding call. Now watch Mallory come up from center field and pick it off.
I think I would have tried to put that ball in the end zone, Brent, hopeful of an interference call or anything, because they needed to go to the 2 or 3 yard line for a first down. They might as well put it in there on 4th down. The throw would not have taken them there.
56 seconds. Harbaugh goes down on one knee. Notre Dame with 1 timeout left.
Now there's a guy that I said at the top of the show is a winner.
So's that young man.
He's a winner.
He could come up a loser here this afternoon.
Nobody in the country that is an active coach in Division I has as many victories as Bo Schembechler. You can't count the man out. He had a down year last year. It was a 500 year, but there's too much pride and tradition at Michigan not to count them out of any kind of a contest. Jerry has a great football team. I think they're going to be all right. I think the bad break on that opening kickoff of the second half really hurt. Psychologically, the momentum shifted, and they never did get the ball into the end zone for the touchdown.
They also made mistakes in the first half and settled for field goals when they were on drives that could have put them in control of this football game. There was a 5-yard penalty when a tackle picked up his hand down here. That moved them back 5, and they had to settle for a Carney field goal.
They never got the touchdown that they needed, or touchdowns that they needed.
Well, the Chevrolet most valuable players of this game are, and here's a young man, Jim Harbaugh, who came in here this afternoon and did a magnificent job at quarterback for Bo Schembechler. John Carney, of course, was his usual brilliant kicking self for Notre Dame, and a check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated by Chevrolet to each college's general scholarship fund to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields.
And you called it, Brent, at halftime when we were away. You said that Harbaugh, even though he's 2 for 11, is playing much better than that, and certainly he bore that out in the second half.
A couple of those passes were dropped, like that one by Jokic, and I just felt that he had a lot of confidence, and the crowd now senses that it's all but over. Notre Dame without a timeout, the clock running down, and the unhappiness on the other side of the field.
Well, it's a tough loss, tough opening loss. As I said also earlier, that this is a game that neither coach wants to lose. There's Bo.